What's going on? It is your boy KP back with another episode of The Kyle Petty Show. This time I'm joined with my friend SARAH KLAUM, who is currently starring as Mrs. Potts in CM Performing Arts Center's production of Beauty and the Beast, running until November 21st. But before I get to that, I would love to remind you that I am making my big grand return to the stage. I don't know if it's going to be big. I guess it will be because I am. I don't know if it's going to be grand. I'd like to think I am. But I will be returning to the stage one way or the other on January 4th, 2025. And I would love for you to be there. We will be announcing some of our friends that will be joining us on this fateful evening within the next week or so. So keep an eye on my socials for that at The Kyle Petty Show. And my full review of Beauty and the Beast is actually already on the website. Bong, bong, bong! I love doing my own sound effects. So go ahead, find that, check it out, and go support my people. They're lovely people doing good things. And we need good things right now, right? Because we done had ourselves a rough week. But that's okay. Moving forward, being positive. So let's get into this conversation with SARAH. I had a really great time, and I think you'll enjoy watching us have said good time. Okay, so here it is. Welcome back to the Kyle Petty Show, a podcast for Long Island theater. I am Kyle Petty, and this time I am joined by my friend SARAH KLAUM, who is starring as Mrs. Potts in CM Performing Arts Center production of Beauty and the Beast, running from November 2nd to November 21st. So welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I was dying to talk to you on here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to be here.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank God. Certainly better than me alternate, right? So people who don't know you, tell us some things about you. Imagine this is like the first time you're sitting down with your cast and you're going around the table. What do you say to a group of strangers?
Sure. Well, my name is SARAH. I'm from Huntington originally. I've been doing theater since I was probably about 13 or so. I studied it in college as a minor. I came back to Long Island. I work at a nonprofit called ACLD, Adults and Children with Learning and Developmental Disabilities. I work in community relations and digital media management. And I've always just had a passion for theater. And in 2023, I decided to get back into it and started working with CM.
How long was your break in between?
About 7 years.
Wow, long
Yeah,
time.
it was a pretty long time,
Yeah.
getting a job, getting comfortable at a job, finding like a work-life balance, and then a pandemic. It's like it took
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
time, and then I finally struck the right balance with where I am now. I had heard about CM from Kevin Burns. I worked with him at the Engelman
Oh,
Theater a
yeah.
long time ago. Um, yeah.
Nice. Good. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. So obviously, Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. I think that people must have been living under a rock if you don't know what the story is about. But in case that's the case, what is the show about? What's the story, and what can people expect when they come down?
Sure. So, Beauty and the Beast is a enchanted tale about a girl named Belle, who's looking for more adventure and experiences in her life, and she happens to fall into a circumstance where she is stuck in a castle with enchanted objects and a beast who is a prince in disguise, and the story kind of unravels from there.
Mhm. And you play Mrs. Potts, who is one of the enchanted objects, who is, spoiler alert, a teapot. Um, so tell me a little bit about your experience with it, especially since it already opened. What made you want to play this role?
Yeah, I like I think every kid loved Beauty and the Beast growing up. I always loved Beauty and the Beast, but I was the kind of kid I never really wanted to be one of the Disney princesses. Mrs. Potts was always the part I wanted to play. I just like there was something about her that I felt so connected with. I have a very like maternal energy. That's something that I really pride myself in, and I've had that for my whole life. So this has just been a part that I've kind of waited my whole life to play, and the cards just kind of fell into place.
Nice. And listen, she sings the title song, all right? So Mrs. Potts is not to be scoffed at, you know?
No pressure.
Um, yeah, no pressure, but you sound beautiful singing it.
Thank
So
you.
fantastic casting as far as I'm concerned. Um, what would you say is one of the most challenging parts of playing this role?
There's a couple different things. I think one of the biggest things that we discussed as a company when we were putting on this production is that we wanted to obviously, we can't recreate the classic animated musical. Nobody can.
Right,
It
right.
is almost perfection, I think you could say. But we wanted to find a way that we could strike the balance of playing into those animated roles that we all know and love, but bringing some humanity into them. And so I think that's been like a fun challenge that I didn't expect. You know, I've
Mm,
wanted to play this part my whole life. I've studied this part my whole life, but now actually being in it, that was a piece that I didn't expect to be as challenging as it was. Um,
mm,
Fortunately, with the cast that we're working with, everyone is so fantastic that the relationships our characters have built together are so strong, that that part actually wasn't as challenging as I thought it was going to be in the beginning.
mm.
And then there's other, you know, like physical things that can be challenging. Having your arm up for like a 12-minute scene can get kind of tiring.
I thought about that as you were doing it. I'm like, this feels like it must be pretty awful. And the same thing for Lumiere too.
Mhm.
Always just walking around like this. I think I might forget.
Yeah, I think I always say that Keith has it tougher because they have to, there's poles within the candlesticks underneath that they have to hold on
Oh,
to. So they're like white knuckling the candlesticks the whole time. So
yikes. Okay. See, I'm
yeah,
just thinking your hands are in it almost like a puppet.
yeah, no, you have to
Oh,
kind of hold them up. So
ew.
between Keith and myself, once we come off stage, we're both like, oh my gosh, like
Oh,
shaking out all the the
yeah.
sore muscles.
Do you have a favorite moment in this show?
I have so many. I have so
Mm,
many.
share
I
some
think
with us.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think obviously Beauty and the Beast is a huge one. It's my favorite least favorite moment because I get so excited for it, but then I get so scared right before it happens because like you said, it's the song and I always get
Mhm.
nervous that, you know, what if it doesn't go well? But I really think my favorite moments in the show are in the beginning of Act 2, when we're kind of seeing the relationship build between Belle and the Beast and we're seeing the hope kind of grow within the enchanted objects.
Mm,
This is like right before Human Again happens. And I specifically, right before the song Human Again, there's just this beautiful little scene with Chip, Lumiere, and Mrs. Potts where you can really feel that their hope is growing.
mhm.
And I love getting to do that, especially with Keith. We've been friends for some time now, so it's a really wonderful experience.
Oh, good. I like that. And we like just knowing that people are getting along, we're making
Yeah.
friends and building community, which is what this is also supposed to be about. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, that's one thing about CM that I think, not that I
Mm,
was surprised about per se, but, everyone that's there really genuinely wants to be there, and we all have this common goal, so there's so much support. It doesn't matter the role you're playing within the
mhm.
production, you're so supported in everything that you're doing, so that's been just kinda a dream come true.
Yeah, because you're just like part of the group and you're just treated as such as soon as you get there. Yeah, I had a very similar experience too. Good. I'm glad that that's carrying on too. Some of these fantastic things we're hearing.
Yeah,
What is your favorite theater experience or one of? So I know that's a tough question.
that's a tough
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
Uh I mean, Beauty and the Beast is definitely up there for me now.
Mhm.
That was such a bucket list thing for me.
Yeah.
I think also, I was fortunate enough to be in, the production of Into the Woods at CM last year as well,
Mm.
and that was my first role outside of an ensemble track after my long hiatus,
Who did you
and
play?
I was Cinderella's stepmother.
Nice.
And I got to understudy the witch. So it was the opportunity for me, I feel like, to kind of stretch out those muscles again that I had been longing to get back to. Um, and I think those two shows in particular will always hold a very special place in my heart, because I feel like Into the Woods kind of reignited my love for theater, and Beauty and the Beast was the dream. So
And it's so perfect. Those two roles that are like vocally so perfect for you. So I'm sorry I missed Into the Woods. I would have loved to see that. Yeah, because I just think you're fantastic. I'm such a fan.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, share with me like your favorite or your funniest on stage moment. We love mishaps in this house.
Well, mishaps, you saw a couple of my mishats the other night. Uh, Opening night, my Mrs. Potts hat just did not wanna stay on my head. Um, Not for lack of trying, but, every time
Right.
I turned my head, that hat just had its own a mind of its own. Um, I would say funniest mishaps, um, one sticks out in my head from
Hmm.
CM specifically, or 2 really. The first one is when we did Elf the Musical last holiday season.
Okay.
I played Mrs. Claus, and I played a couple tracks in the ensemble. And at CM, all of the actors assist with all of the set changes back and forth in between scenes. So since I was in the ensemble track, I had quite a few set changes, which I personally love. I think building the transitions from scene to scene is a part of the storytelling. So I always love when
Hmm.
I get to kind of be a part of that. Sometimes it can be difficult, especially when you're playing in the ensemble and you've got so many
Yes.
changes and all these things. And it was during a show of Elf. We just left an office scene and we were going to the Rockefeller Center ice skating rink scene. So I was behind one of the angels, the Rockefeller Center angels that we had to bring on.
Hmm.
And a foolish mistake of mine, I took off my wig to get ready for my next change, but then did the move with no wig on. But I was like, I'm not going to be seen. It's no problem.
It's fine.
And yeah, exactly. So that set change I had to sit behind for the entire scene. I was getting the angel in place, and the lights came up, and I was still perfectly visible. And I looked like, in my head, I was like this gopher with like my head sticking over the set. And I've never hit the ground so hard.
I've had a number of moments that were similar, especially just when you think that you're like not in the light, but you actually are completely visible. Like at least you knew right away. Like
Yeah,
sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm fine, and somebody's like, "What are you doing?"
right. So like
I'm like, "I don't know. What are you doing?"
it was kind of like twofold because either one, people saw me, or two, they
Mhm.
heard the sound of my body hitting the ground. So
Flooding
like
down.
they were aware of what I did, no matter what they
Right. So
experienced.
they didn't see it, they heard it, and
Yeah,
then they still
exactly.
knew.
Yeah,
That's great.
that was a good one.
So I understand you did prepare 2 truths and a lie for us.
I
What
did.
do you have? What do you
All right.
have?
So the first one,
Uh-huh.
I can juggle.
You can juggle. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm writing them down.
Sure. The second one is this is my first Disney show.
Okay.
And the third one is once in a production of Chicago the musical, I dislocated my knee on stage during a song.
Yikes. Okay. All right, so to recap. Number 1, you can juggle. Number 2, this is your first Disney show. And number 3, during a production of Chicago, you dislocated a knee.
Yep.
My goodness. That feels very specific. I'm going to believe that that one's true. First Disney show. That's hard. That's hard. Now, are you being tricky also? Like, is it possible that you count Into the Woods as a Disney show
No,
because Disney did a movie? Okay, just want to make sure, people,
no.
they try it with me, they try it. So, juggle. Juggling is actually very hard. I'd be super impressed if you can do that. But I think you're just an impressive person. So I'm going to say that that is probably true, and I'm going to say that it is a lie that this is your first Disney show.
You would be correct.
Wow! Finally, I got one by myself.
So
How exciting! Oh,
this is
great!
my second Disney show, and it's my second
Really?
time doing Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, wow! Did you play Mrs. Potts before?
I did not. I
Who were
played
you last time?
a dancing table in the ensemble.
Ah, nice, nice. Tell
And
us
what
about this dislocated knee.
Yeah, so I think I was about 20 years old. I was a sophomore in college, and
Mhm.
my school was doing a production of Chicago the musical. I was in the ensemble, and it was the song "We Both Reach for the Gun," which
Okay.
I don't
Mhm.
know if you've noticed. It's been trending on TikTok recently, so it's been a little like traumatic for me to hear it over and over again. Um, so it was very like Bob Fosse choreography, very isolated. And there was one moment in the song where my knee decided to go one way and my body went the other. And I dislocated my knee, fell to the
Oh
ground,
my God.
like totally blacked out. I don't remember it at all. A cast member of mine like hoisted me up and I walked off stage like dun, 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 dun,
Just
with
flapping in the breeze.
my leg like kind of backwards.
Oh my God. And
Yeah.
then what do they do to fix that? Do they just snap it back in like they do a shoulder?
Well, so sometimes with certain I mean, I'm not a medical professional, so don't take
Mhm.
my advice, but
Mm.
sometimes in certain circumstances, uh, certain ligaments and things will put things back into place kind of for you if it's like the first time. So
Oh.
my knee went back into place
Oh.
itself, which is actually a better
When?
thing because
I guess.
the longer
Okay.
it's out, the more it hurts. I've actually now dislocated my knee 3 times,
What? Oh
but
my God.
only once on stage. Knock
So
on wood.
when your body, I don't know, puts itself back together, like, does that hurt? Or does it
It hurts really bad and then it's instant relief because the pieces like the knee being out of place hurts way, way more. The second it gets back into place, the movement hurts really bad, but then once it's good, you're good. You're like, you're fine.
Oh, it's
I know
just
you
it's just one of my worst nightmares. Anytime I hear about things like this, like shoulders, knees,
Oh,
I've
no.
never had a broken bone either. Like
No.
I am ill equipped for like any kind of like actual like crisis or injury. Like I'm not.
Well, my friend
So what do you think is next for you after Beauty and the Beast, or is something already lined up? What's Sarah got going on?
nothing lined up right now. I just did Jekyll and Hyde into Beauty and the Beast, so back to back is always kind of a challenge. So I definitely want to take a little bit of time, especially around the holidays, to
Time to go sit down
reflect, be with the family, that kind of thing. CM's got a great season next year. Long Island has a great season next year in general. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that are, piquing my fancy. So I don't really know what's next. Right now, a nice break, but then after that, hopefully something soon.
fair enough. And where can people find you in the socials to keep up with your projects?
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram, Sarah Therese. That's SARAH_TERESEE.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for hanging out with me on here. This was an absolute blast. You got such a good smile too. Ah,
Oh,
I'm just
thank
obsessed.
you
I'm
so much.
obsessed. I'm just obsessed.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for hanging out, and I'm going to see you soon.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Of course. Thank you again to Sarah for joining me here on The Kyle Petty Show. You can find my full review of CM Performing Arts Center's production of Beauty and the Beast at my website at www.thekylepettyshow.com. And please come join us for The Kyle Petty Show live, also at CM. Tickets are on sale now, and you can purchase them at cmpac.com. Oh my goodness, I forgot. Toss me a vote for the Best of Long Island competition, okay? I was nominated for Best Long Island Personality. We're not gonna win. We're not, but that's okay because it is just an honor. What? To be nominated. All right. So toss me a vote. I just don't let me be embarrassed. Just give me a little something. Give me a little something. And that's it. We're out of here. Thank you for supporting this project. Thank you for supporting Long Island Theater. And until next time, thanks a lot.